Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Aries EDC. So picking up on the May builds, I have the three ADC RV2 blades. They are now, as you saw, the sheaths have been done. We have the Thorn. The customer wanted a purple Kydex sheath, so we got the purple Kydex sheath. Looking really good, nice and tight fit. Clicks in there nicely. I made the bead because they asked for a bead, so we got the ultra purple bead, and we're going to be doing a purple and black lanyard for that one. And then we have the Torcido. This is the first one I've ever done, so this was definitely a fun project. Moving forward, I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit with what I want to do for materials and stuff, but I decided to go with a thicker bar of steel, but I think moving forward I'll just do the 1/8 inch thickness, which is right there. I think this is like 3/16. So that was a thick bar, and it turned out really, really good, and the sheath is nice and tight. Then finally the Bloom XL, looking really good. Got that nice sheath. I started doing the little relief hole right in here, so that relieves any moisture or anything that can get out of the sheath, or any debris, you can blow it out, etc. So these guys are all done as far as the sheath. So honestly, the final step on these guys is to sharpen them, and then just do a little final polish and clean on them, protect them with a little bit of maybe a little bit of the Wicked Wax. I like to put on the blades since these are ADC RV2. I also use a little bit of this Renaissance polish to polish them up on the final polish. I do it all by hand, but the next step is to put an edge, and I might just do a little time lapse one by one on these guys. As far as, I don't think I've ever done it, and maybe I'll break it down on how I put an edge on it. So I put an edge on a blade that has nothing there, so it's a little easier to resharpen something that already has an edge on it, where I am creating the first edge ever on this blade. So you see the thickness of the steel at the edge, and I have to then sharpen that. And lately I've been using about a 17 to a 17.5 angle on the edge, which I think is very slicey. So I'm going to do that with these as well. So I'm going to bring you guys over to the sharpening station and go through that with you real quick, and then we'll do maybe some time lapse of that. But this sharpening does take quite some time when you're putting a fresh edge on something. I try to get it as thin as possible at the edge. Sometimes it's a little thicker than others, just based on the height of the grind, etc. But yep, I gonna do that. So it takes some time because, like I said, it's much easier to start with a blade that already has an edge, but when you're working on something that has no edge at all and it's just blunt at the edge, then I have to create that angle, and that's not easy. And honestly, this is going to be the first time I've done it without something with a sharpening choil. So the Torcido does not have a sharpening choil, and I don't know, you guys tell me in the comment, should I include one moving forward? That little blink, maybe just a little small one? Or do you like the style with it nothing? I'm gonna see how it goes sharpening. I'm just gonna have to be really careful right into the where you have that bevel coming down. I'm gonna have to start the sharpening edge like way down here, which should be interesting. And that's where people complain about the smile, is because the edge goes into a thicker area right as the contour of the bevel comes down, and that plunge grind And when the sharpening area gets up in there, that's when you start getting the smiles. And people complain about the smile, you know, whatever, as long as it's sharp. Really, are we really going to complain about that? But let's see. I'm going to figure out a way to try to stop where I'm sharpening at some point. Maybe I'll put a piece of tape in here so I know not to sharpen beyond that piece of tape. But the tip is really thin on this thing, but back here is a little thicker, so it's going to be kind of a tapered grind on the sharpening edge. But we'll see how it goes. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I already started the cards. So we have a good plan, and let's take you guys over to my little sharpening station over here, and we'll talk about sharpening. All right, so this is my sharpening system. It's a TS Prof Cadet, I believe. So this is what I use to sharpen all my blades. It might be not the fastest system that you can use, but it's what I've been using, and it's better. I was using my Precision Adjust Work Sharp, and this definitely makes things go a lot faster than that does. So I have a couple Allen wrenches, I have a towel, I have my strop for what I have afterwards, I have my angle finder, a marker just in case, but like I said before, I'm starting from scratch, so I have to create the angle. And I'm shooting for 17 degrees, somewhere around there, for something like this. I'm using the Atoma 140 grit to start it. And it takes a while, which is why I'm probably just going to time lapse once I get set up. I have adjusted this distance between these two with my little Allen wrench, and I've adjusted for the thickness up here at the top for that. The stones that come with this are a lot different. They're a lot longer, and I have found this is the 150, the coarsest one that they have, and I found that this wasn't really doing it like I wanted to, or as fast, and I could probably go a little coarser, but this is working for me right now, and the time it takes is relative at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the angle. I could do this two ways, but I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to set my 0 here. So I'm going to 0 that out. Come over here. 0'd out. Then I put that over here, and that is exactly 17 degrees. I would show you on the camera, but it's just gonna move. So it's exactly 17 degrees, right where it needs to be. And so now my angle is set, and now when I'm flipping this back and forth, I don't have to touch anything else. I'm right there, and I'm ready to go. One thing I have done, because this stone isn't as long as the others, I adjusted this to where I am right here. I don't want to slide off the blade either way. So I have this stopper that I added, and I had that stopper. So I am going to stay right on the blade, and I'm just going to continue to go back and forth. At this stage, I keep going back and forth till I get a good secondary bevel. And then once I get it started, I'll flip it over and keep going till I get it about even. And then I keep flipping back and forth until I start getting an even burr on both sides. Once I get the even burr on the edge, then I can pull this stone off. Then I can start working some of the higher grit stones. So I'll go, let's see, I'll go, that's 140. When I get the nice burr on that and I get it down, then I'll go to 220 and then work on getting that and the burr. After I switch from this stone to this stone, I readjust everything back. I readjust this so that I'm getting a longer stroke, and I have to lower that angle up here. So I can just lower this back down to the thickness of this, or I'm gonna mess up the angle. So I'm just gonna continue to go back and forth until I've really started to get that angle. Also, I'm removing material. So as I go, I'm wiping this blade clean, trying to make sure I'm not gonna scratch the blade as I'm sharpening it. So you can see already it's removing material and it's starting to dig into the steel on that edge. So literally I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for quite some time, and I work my way through all of the stones. Normally I will go, let's see, I will go to about 600. 600 grit is good, and I'll make sure by the time I get to 600 grit, I'm just going one direction the whole time, and then I'll go 20, 15, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 on both sides, and I'll go really light, and then once I get to 600, I have a pretty good sharpness, and then I take it to my strop and I'll strop it, and then I have a pile of paper here I'll test it on, and we'll be good. So that's kind of how I do it. Just talk about the TS Prof a little bit. I added these two on, and it allows these to get close because I'm dealing with such small blades half the time that I can get this really close. So I purchased these little L brackets that attach onto this that allow me to get in here. Otherwise, these just attach straight to the bracket. So, and these only get so far away and they don't come together. I can literally put these two things together and that holds the blade in, but this is nice and tight the way that I have it set up right now. So, all right, let's set up the time lapse and I'll start sharpening. All right, so I've gone all the way down to the 600. So I tested it a little. Let's take it out. I'm not messing with the angle. I'm just taking the blade out of the sharpening system so that I can see where we're at. Just take this out, clean it off a little bit. Okay, yeah, looking good. I'm gonna just do the finishing on the strop. So I got it pretty sharp as you saw. So I'm just going to strop this. I don't know how my light is here, but so I strop. I have a little bit of, I don't like to put too much of the polishing compound on. I find my angle with the tip, and then I start with the tip and pushing away from me, putting very light pressure, then I go on the strop. So I'm just going down the strop. And I'm doing about 10. And then I'm weird. I know, I'll flip it over and I'll do it this way 10 times as well. Some people don't like to go left-handed, I guess, but I don't have issues with it. And then I'll just work my way down to where I'm comfortable with how it performs. Again, very light pressure, finding the angle. Just a nice stroke. We'll see how this looks now. All right. So now we stropped it. Yeah, it's looking good. You see me, I have my little i5T, my Olight, and what I like to do with the Olight is I just like to see what the cutting edge looks like while I'm sharpening it. Just to make sure everything's uniform, everything's looking good, because you can see the edge on a flashlight. So I'm looking at it and it's getting hung up right there. So I'm gonna strap this back and finish that up. Plus, well, let me see. No, it's really not getting hung up now. All right, I'll keep stropping it, but that's what it is, guys. And I keep doing that. I do that for every blade to get it nice and sharp. You know, listen, like everything that you see on my channel, I'm not a professional in any of this. I've read, done research, and I'm doing my best. And I'm definitely not a sharpener. There's plenty of people who could probably get a better edge than me. I'm just doing my best to try to provide something that's super sharp, and on a different level than anything that's gonna be production. So when you get one of my knives, I do want it to cut, and I do want it obviously to be sharp, and I want that edge to last a while. So I'm hoping heat treat is on point and everything is good for that blade to last you a lifetime, and just a couple stroppings here and there. But yeah, we are looking pretty good. There's still that one spot. I don't feel it, but I'm gonna keep working at it, and I'll catch you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so I've been working on that one, got it razor sharp, and now I can call the Bloom XL completely done. So I'm really happy with the way that this came out. It's a little thick in the handle, but man, it fills your hand, it's light, it's balanced, and it'll be a perfect for hopefully the person that is getting it. So Lava Flow Keraynite came out really, really nice. Nice depth and flow in that. The sheath came out perfect and nice retention, and the blade is razor sharp. So really happy with the way that this finally turned out. And so now I got to go get some good pictures of it and video and send it to that owner, see if he's happy with it, and then I can move on to the other two. But I have, there we go, the Bloom XL. It is done and ready. So now we move on to the Torcido and the Thorn and getting them sharpened up. But that, I'll catch you guys down the road on those two, and you'll start to see the finished products on these guys coming out very, very soon. So I hope you like this one. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment or not. That choice is yours.